Hey everybody, and welcome back to First Time Watch Fridays here on Horror Film Lovers. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I've got a special guest. This is the first time I've done this for Horror Film Lovers, for
Oh yeah.
First Time Watch Fridays, because usually it's just me talking, and I'm kind of bored with that. Like, I'd like to
Yeah.
start bringing guests in, and so I figured I would do this. This is actually June that we're shooting. Sorry for the, whatever. You have no idea when you were not supposed to know that, I guess. But oh, we're shooting in June, and this will be out in August, or like the end of summer kind of thing. And even though I didn't realize this was a spring break movie. I thought it was a.
Was it though?
It
I thought they
was,
said
yeah. They
something
talked
about
about they were going to
graduation.
be on
I thought,
spring break and go to Cabo
yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's a spring break movie.
Okay. I thought they were talking about graduation too at some point. Like they were celebrating graduation. I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe I
like
just
they
made that
got
up.
everything all mixed up. I don't know, but as far as I remember, they were saying like they couldn't nobody was going to be able to find them because they're all on spring break right now or whatever, and so nobody was going to find them in like 2 weeks. And I'm like thinking I
Hmm.
have a lot of questions about in this movie, and you probably, if you weren't thinking these questions, you're probably going to be thinking them after I talk about this. But anyway, we're talking about the movie The Sand, and if you didn't know from the title of this video and the picture behind me of well, we'll get to poor
That
Melvin.
that's a perfect still to have
Yeah,
there.
which is funny because you see Mitch in the background there, I think, right there. And then
Yeah.
these are actually all, it feels like this is not right. In they just somehow or another got all like I don't feel like Mitch would be that close and the car would be that close.
Well, so throughout a lot of the movie, the guy with the face tattoo,
The dick tattoo.
um, his back was turned to them, so he couldn't get a good view. So I mean, this is probably a legit still.
Okay. All right. So anyway, we're going to be talking about this movie, The Sand, where much like First Time Watch Fridays, a lot of times I find things either on Tubi or I find things that I just haven't heard of, and whatnot, and whatnot, or things I wanted to see. And The Sand kept popping up in like my recommended for Tubi, and I was like, and then when I was trying to figure out a summer movie, um, it popped up once again in my recommended. So I
Yeah,
was like, let's watch it. I've never heard of it. I had no idea if it was even going to be any
I know.
good.
I'd never heard of it before.
In fact, I talked to one of my friends who watches movies all the time, horror movies like these B movie all the time. Never heard of it either. And I think that a lot of that has to do with I don't even think this got like a DVD. If it got a DVD release, got a small DVD release, like not
Yeah,
it wasn't like in Walmart's or something, which is sad because it's not a terrible movie. Like
I really liked it.
I enjoyed it too. I had a fun time with it. I was honestly, I was like, oh, great, it's a bunch of teenagers. I don't know if I'm gonna be like all excited, because you get that all the time or whatever.
Yeah,
And I thought these guys were the first to die. A lot of times it's like the first group dies in the first 5, 10 minutes. No, these guys are throughout like pretty much most of
they
the
dragged it
movie.
out. Yeah,
Yeah, and they were there, which is very surprising. I mean, that they were able to do that. And I give them props for able to, especially the writers, the two writers who wrote this. One of them was a writer for like wrestling writer. He like wrote for wrestling's
oh,
like
okay.
WrestleMania. And I'm like, I kind of wonder like what kind of script is that? Is like
Yeah.
this person power drives this person and stuff like that. And then do they stick to a script? Because I always thought the wrestlers kind of knew what so I don't know what a
I'm sure it's
wrestling,
choreographed.
but and I know scripted. Maybe some of the like dialogue between the wrestlers might be scripted, or whatever, but I didn't know it was that. So that was weird. And then the guy the two guys wrote a movie called Lullaby together, which I kind of sounded good, so I might want to watch that at some point. But this, was a movie that I was very surprised about.
Yeah.
Uh, so what were your thoughts on it?
So I thought, I'm sure it's hard to do a whole movie in just one location.
Hmm.
But I mean, it was very exciting to me. And there was just constant action going on. Sometimes it was kind of cheesy or corny, but I mean, that's what I like about these kinds of movies.
Hmm.
I was really impressed with the special effects.
Yeah, the special effects were
I
pretty
thought
good.
they were excellent.
And we'll probably get into that because I don't know who did the special effects. I'll have to look that up. Um, well, I'll look that up in a little bit. You brought up a really good point. This is a movie that's basically in one location, and
Hmm.
I never even thought of it that way,
Yeah.
which is surprising because I hate movies in one location. I mean, I don't hate them. There's some that I really, really love, like Clerks is set pretty much in two locations, like
Yeah.
or whatever. Lifeboat, the Alfred Hitchcock movie. But if anyone's gonna do a movie that I like that's set in one location, it would normally be Hitchcock. But generally speaking, I get bored, with
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
location. And the suspense in this movie and the characters and the fact that they all knew each other, even though we didn't know them,
Yeah.
going in, we had no idea who was who or what was what. In fact,
I still don't. I'm horrible with names and the characters.
yeah, I don't, I'm gonna have to look up the characters' names too, so I'm gonna do that real quick. We're gonna talk about each actor and character in 2 seconds because I think um some of them were really good.
Yeah. Oh, I
Brooke
agree. I thought the acting was excellent, actually. And so when, okay, I only remember his first name, Jamie
Kennedy,
Kennedy. When he
yes.
first pulled up onto the beach, I thought, no way, is that him? Damn. I mean, I thought that was cool that, probably a smaller budget film was able to get somebody like that.
I didn't
And
know. I just knew I knew him from somewhere, and I didn't
yeah,
recognize Jamie or like. I mean, I heard his voice and was like, that sounds familiar, but he sounded
yeah,
a little different. And I've met Jamie at a horror convention once. Very nice guy, just very, very sweet, down to earth guy, dude. We were supposed to do an interview and then it just didn't happen because, conventions are crazy. But,
yeah,
maybe one day. Maybe that meant that later I'm meant to interview him in a better setting. So we'll talk about him in a second, but Brooke Butler played Kaylee. I thought she was okay, like she was good.
yeah. She did a great job.
Yeah, she was great. She had some really I mean, she had the most dramatic role of them all,
Yeah.
or whatever. She had like I, I didn't quite understand her relationship with her ex. Like, did she break it off or did he break it off?
I think they were still together, but he apparently had spent the previous night with one of the other girls.
Yeah, Chandra or
But
Chandra.
I mean, I could be wrong about that, but that's what I gathered. I was never involved in that kind of drama in high school, so it was hard for me to keep
Well,
up with
it
what
was
was going on.
she kind of talked about it a little bit, but she kind of mentioned to the boy that the really nice guy, and
Yeah.
we'll get to him in a little bit. But the really nice guy, she was talking to him about the fact that I guess they had broken up, but they weren't, or they had like there was something about uh high school, or maybe it wasn't the nice guy, it was maybe she was talking to the girl, the friend or whatever, but she was talking about how uh it's not forever, life's not forever or whatever,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, and so
Right.
or life is forever. So like she was too afraid like to get stuck with him or something forever and not be able to explore, I guess. And I think that's what
Oh
happened.
yeah.
I think they sort of maybe took a break, and but then I don't understand why she would get mad at the other girl for like hooking up with her. Like, I guess if they're best friends, then that's kind of, messed up, I
Well,
guess.
there's some kind of friends. I feel like that would probably, if I was in a friend group like that, I would probably be a little upset too if my friend just took my very recent ex-boyfriend.
I think you could have played the Kaylee part, well, like I think you would have had a fun time with that kind of role.
I think she did a great job. I feel like she was able to pull off with the help of the script and the direction this kind of change that she goes through and this growth throughout the film. She kind of just becomes this badass character and she's walking away from spoil. Can I do a spoiler alert?
Hmm.
Everybody dies, guys. But when Jamie Kennedy's character is there on the ground,
Wait, did everybody die?
um,
Because I thought at the end they survived.
I meant like pretty
Oh,
much,
most of the people
pretty
die.
much
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but as she's walking away from the sand eating his character, she kind of pauses for a moment and then she just kind of keeps walking away. So I thought she did an excellent job.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Um, so she was in a movie called All Cheerleaders Die, which was one of Lucky McKee's first movies. So she was back in 2013, which was a couple like 1 or 2 years before this one, you know? Like it wasn't
Yeah.
that long before. She was also recently she was in A Day to Die, which stars Bruce Willis and Kevin Dillon and Frank Grillo. Um, so unfortunately, it has a stigma now of like there was, these were the movies that like Bruce Willis was doing when he was having he had kind of the brain
Yeah.
issues and stuff, and brain disease, and so he was sort of like it's sort of hard to watch those. Let's just say
Yeah.
that. Like I don't know if I want to watch those. You know what I mean? Because it's sort of like he was sort of kind of falling apart and whatnot, and you can kind of see it in a couple of the movies. And and I own a couple of them, but I didn't know at that time when I bought them
Yeah.
that all that was happening, and I'm like, I don't know, like how much I enjoy I mean, I might want to have all of Bruce Willis's movies one day, but I mean that's just it's kind of hard, to
Yeah.
see. And then let's see, our buddy Gilbert. I thought it was Melvin, but I
Oh,
think um Gilbert was like the best character.
there were a couple of names that he got called that
Well, he
kind of
got
made me
called Fat
fun.
Albert at one point,
Yes,
but that was
that's
the
the one that
best
I
thing. Did
caught.
you get the joke?
Well, from the TV show.
No. So like, well, I mean that's that, but uh Jamie Kennedy calls him fat it says Fat Albert in a can. Right. There is an actual old like joke, and I'm not sure if this is where it came, like where they took this from this or whatever, but there's an old joke where people call up and they would ask for Prince Albert, in a
Prince
can.
Albert in a can.
Right? You
Yeah.
remember that, right? So you call up and ask for Prince Albert in the can, and then people go, "Yeah, we have Prince Albert in the can." It was like, "Well, you better let him out," and they would hang up because this is such a stupid prank, right?
I think that might have been right. I might have been too young for that.
Right, right, right. That's like that's like my parents' age kind of
Yeah.
jokes, pranks and stuff. Like people really don't do that anymore.
I
But
think they should though.
I swear to God, I think that was the joke, was when he said
Yeah.
there is a Fat Albert in a can.
You could be right.
Yeah, I think they were trying to say it was like Prince Albert, but he was making fun of him, calling him Fat Albert. So
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I may be overanalyzing this joke too much, but I that's where I got it, and I was like, that's actually a really, if that's where it is. If that wasn't, and that just happened to work like that,
A heck of a
even
coincidence.
even better. That guy is named Cleo Berry, and he's done the voice of a fire truck in or something in a thing called Firebuds. He was in a TV show, the cartoon. He was in he's done TV a lot. Like, yeah, he's a TV guy. Was he an old? Oh, nope. Okay. Um, yeah, he was also a veteran of the asylum, and a lot of these guys probably a lot of the visual effects, a lot of the independent things.
Yeah.
They were kind of veterans of the asylum, so that kind of makes sense. Now the white girl that got her hand stuck in the what is it,
Oh,
the
that was brutal.
yeah, uh it was her and the guy and poor uh Gilbert stuck inside
Oh
that
yeah.
thing, like jammed into the trash or whatever. I mean, both of them are like, I kind of felt really sorry for those characters,
Trapped.
yeah. Um, but she was played by Cynthia Morel, and she has been in like FBI Most Wanted, Cheaper by the Dozen, the remake, that the newer remake for Disney Plus. Um, she was in 16 episodes of Making a Scene with James Franco and Fuller House. She was in an episode
Oh,
of Fuller House. So she had done some stuff. Trying to think, was she anything else? How I Met Your Mother and a bunch of other, like, yeah. So she's been in a couple things. Now I told you about the guy, Dean Geyer. He's an
yeah.
Australian guy. And he actually won or was a contestant. I'm not sure if he won, but he was a contestant on Australian's uh what's the singing show that America's what's the
Australian Idol?
yeah, Australian Idol. He was on that. So he was also a singer on Glee. He performed in 5 episodes of
Oh
Glee.
wow.
He was on yeah, and he played Brody Weston on Glee, and then he did Sand afterwards. That's kind of a step down. I mean, I would have imagined that he could have gotten, whatever, but hey, maybe he was excited about this. More fun for him. And
I
recently,
love doing horror, even if it's campy.
yeah, and this is the campiest as you can get. Um, so he's been in a couple like I think Lifetime Christmas things called like
Yeah,
Christmas in the Pines and a Ring for Christmas. So he's a lot of that's kind of what happens too. You're really good looking, and you're out in LA. Lifetime will eat you up. They will take
yeah.
you for in a second. Um, then let's see, Shanda, or was that's her name, right? Shanda, was played by Megan Holder. Um, and she was in 11 episodes of Monarch, which I think I've heard of, but I don't know
Mhm. That
much about.
sounds weird to me.
She was in a Chestnut Family Christmas, so she's been in the Christmas. Cooking Up Christmas. Good God, how many Christmas movies are there out there now? It's a lot.
Hey, it's
Um,
not my jam, but some people love that stuff.
Now, Girlfriends of Christmas Past, she was in that.
Oh, I
Uh,
I did watch that one.
yeah, but that
Matthew
wasn't a
McConaughey.
Lifetime movie. That was a real, like, I think wasn't who was the star of that? Huh.
Matthew McConaughey.
Oh,
Jennifer
this is a
Garner.
different one.
Oh,
It is a Lifetime one. So I guess they took the same title. That's weird. Girlfriends of Christmas Past. Yeah, they took the same title as
oh,
like.
I'm thinking of Ghosts. No, it's something else that I'm thinking of.
Okay, now I know what you're thinking of because I was thinking of the same thing. And I was like, wait, that's not right. Um, but the guy that directed a couple Lifetime movies that I was in, you know, Jake Helgren directed that one, so he
Okay.
he got directed by him. Um, And so she'd been in a few things. But before we get to Jamie Kennedy, because we're gonna get to him in a second. But before then, we gotta talk about Hannah Montana's Mitchell Musso that's in this movie, who plays the nice guy. He's the nice guy that likes the girl, but
Oh my gosh. I did not even know that was him.
I didn't either until I was IMDb seeing who these people are, and I go, I mean, Mitchell Musso? No, not the not
Oh.
that, not I looked him up because I was like, wait, I know that name, and then I go Hannah Montana. That's Ollie or whatever. I think his name's Ollie Oliver. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, so he was
I
in
haven't
that.
watched
He
that
was
show in
in
forever.
Monster House, Pair of
I
Kings.
love that movie.
Um, yeah. Um, so I'm guessing this is like post. This was post Hannah Montana. A lot of uh child actors, especially ones that weren't the star, like Miley Cyrus was the star of Hannah Montana. Emily Osment and Mitch Musso were the co-stars, and they were kind
Yeah.
of the smaller roles. People like them, they kind of go into like, we can be in these movies, but we're sort of kind of bringing a name to the movie. However, sadly, he should have got like an with or and, credit at the end.
Mhm.
It should have been like with Mitch Musso and Jamie
Yeah.
Kennedy, kind of thing. But they didn't do that, which I thought was, I don't know. Maybe it had been like gone for so long, people just didn't like he didn't have that power, or whatever, which kind of sucks. I liked him in the movie. At first I was like, I don't want him to die, but I was like, I bet that was the thing that he was excited about, you know,
Yeah.
because his
Well, it
death
was
was
one of
the
the coolest
coolest.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
got
I
like
totally
sucked out and
agree.
just like,
I was like, oh my gosh.
yeah, that was the most brutal, and I think that was the point.
Hmm.
Like the two ones that I think were the most brutal were him and Jamie Kennedy. They had like the
Oh
like
yeah.
craziest deaths. Um, so I really like that. Yeah, he's been in a few things, so you know him. And then Jamie Kennedy, and everybody else. There's that girl Nikki Lee, who is the girl that nobody could remember her name, but she showed her breasts in the movie,
Oh
or
yeah.
whatever. She was like naked pretty much the whole time, which I kind of felt bad for. I always feel bad for girls who do nudity,
I
because
don't
then
even
they
did
kind
she
of get
even have any
typecast.
lines?
I think she did. She did because she was like, remember she was like stuck on the car and she was trying to figure out how to get off the car or whatever. It was a car? How was
No,
she? She was on
didn't
like
she
a
work she
table.
woke up on a bench or a
Yeah,
picnic
bench,
table or
like picnic
something.
bench,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And so she was the first one to die
Hmm.
because, she just got into the sand. And was she the first one to die? Because I'm trying to think, because they
Yeah.
seemed to know there was something down there before she got on it, right? But you remember, because I thought they were kind of like, or was she the first one? She put her foot down and then she got stuck. No, she got stuck.
Yeah, it was her foot.
Yeah,
I don't think it actually showed her getting eaten up by the sand, did it?
I think maybe it wasn't like as like because the next person is the guy, the boyfriend of the blonde girl.
Yeah.
And so when he went into the sand, he tripped, because it had him
Yeah.
and it got his face, and everything, and then it looked like acid or some shit. Like his
Yeah.
like face was
It
coming
was
off and stuff.
gruesome.
Yeah. And so we find out like in this movie, we find out that these people were just hungover and some of them are in cars. Four of them are in cars. One of them's on the bench. One guy's stuck in a fucking trash can. And then two of them are up in the tower, which I
Yeah, the
didn't know
lifeguard
you're
tower.
allowed to do that. I didn't know you're allowed to just. I mean, I guess if you're drunk, you're gonna do whatever you want to, not, but I would have. But nobody came for that day at all from the beach patrol except for the one guy. But like there should have been more people there checking on the beach because that's unsafe right there. People die.
Yeah.
I didn't see any like don't go in the water signs, or whatever, swim at your own risk, kind of thing.
I'm sure there are remote beach locations out there. And maybe
Yeah.
that's what they were doing. They weren't going to like a popular beach to have a good time. They were just trying to find a remote location where they could party and not get in trouble.
Yep. So they go and they're there and they're stuck with on this, in their areas and the places that they're at. And there's this, but before then, we have to backtrack because during the party, they found this ugly looking thing, like this big ball of goo. And they're like rolling it, going, "Oh, look at what I've," and I'm like, that looks really disgusting. Like, why would you even
That's
touch that?
that's young people for you.
I don't know. Even if I were young and drunk, I would still be like, I'm not touching that thing. You know, I would
Yeah.
have been like, nope, get me away from that shit. Because I bet it smelled. I bet it did not look, like it's just like I would just stayed away from it. But they
Mhm.
were, they were playing with it, and then they passed out. And when they woke up, apparently it had hatched. It was an egg, and it hatched, and whatever it was went underground. And what we find out, or what we assume later, nobody knows because there's no way to figure this out, but everybody else at the party is probably dead. You know, some could have gone home, but most
Yeah.
likely everybody is dead, from this thing. If you were on the sand, it was going to eat you, or whatever. So what really kind of got me mad is it's not the sand that's eating everybody. It's this thing under the sand. So
Yeah.
technically it shouldn't be called the sand. Um, you know, uh it but the thing is like what else could you have called it? I guess like monster beneath the
Creepy
sand.
tentacle,
What
creepy tentacle thing.
creepy tentacle thing under the sand?
That's what
I
it
mean,
was.
I
Like, I
know.
thought it was the coolest looking thing, their effects they had. Like the little tentacles are reaching up out of the sand.
I
I thought that
liked
was
that.
awesome. It was like a jellyfish.
I like that. Yep. And they even mentioned that like it
Yeah, they
hurt worse
compared
than
it
a
to a jellyfish.
it hurt worse than a jellyfish sting. Um, but what and it was a swimmer. It was in the in the water. It swam. So maybe it was sort of a alien fish. They said monster. I call it alien. I'm pretty sure it's an alien being, kind of thing.
I mean, it could be, but there's also species of life out on this planet that have not been discovered yet. So,
Yeah, they could be like it could be all the way down, 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 down. Like they say, like the where we can't even go because it's too far down. There could
mhm.
be like animals and fish and wildlife that we don't know about, like
Oh yeah,
sharks and things. They say like the megalodon could be down there, things like that, like prehistoric animals that just have survived all these years because they didn't get hit with the meteors or whatever they didn't get the ice age, they weren't,
yeah,
frozen from it. So um, now if you think about it, I mean, like there are still prehistoric animals out there. There's crocodiles, alligators, and stuff. So who knows,
yeah,
but this thing hatched and whatever it was big, you know. We even see it at the end. It's kind of huge. It's like at the end, it's kind of heading toward another group of people, and I guess they were trying to make it like Jaws, where instead of people being afraid of the water, let's everybody be afraid of the sand. Let's do
yeah,
for the sand what Jaws did for the ocean, you know. And so now you can't even go on the sand and enjoy the beach because there could be something down below there. Um,
Like a drink, like a popsicle or something sweet.
yes. Sorry.
So yeah, so I think that's I mean that's such a fun idea, like period. So uh then yeah, so that happens, like all that craziness was endured into it. And then uh and when we meet Jamie Kennedy as the patrol guy, he's like this just he just doesn't he thinks everybody's high on, and you
Yeah.
would too probably if if everybody was talking about there's something underneath the sand killing everybody, then
Oh, for
I
sure. Yeah.
and it's not killing him, and they're all like, what is going on here, like what happened, you know and
It seems like he's burned out from his job.
yeah, he's just like
He's
what do
just
you
been
guys
doing it too long.
yeah, so he comes out there and he's like, what are you guys on, you guys got Molly, what's going on, right? And that was one of my favorite lines is
Yeah.
you guys got Molly, like he wanted some or something. And and then he's walking around, we don't know why his shoes, but then we start seeing there's something on his shoes. Guess some kind of spikes or something on his shoes. And so
Hmm.
I guess the thing doesn't want to attack him while he has the spikes on him, or whatever. Won't touch him. So he's he's okay. And so he's trying to get them to come down and everything. They're like, no. And when he drops something, that's when he finds out. I think he drops his pepper spray or whatever,
Oh
and he
yeah.
goes to pick it up, and it's the what is it? The thing eats him, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
he was the best part. He was literally the best part, which I didn't even know he was in the movie, so he was a big surprise, for
Yeah.
me, and I enjoyed that.
That's what I was surprised about too, because you didn't say anything about it when you initially said this was the movie we were going to do tonight. And so
Like I didn't say
I
that Jamie
was like,
Kennedy's in it.
that can't be him because Jonathan didn't say anything about it to
Why would
me.
I? Why would I
I
tell you that anyway? I'm not going to tell you
don't
anything
know.
about the movie. I'm
Because you
not going
always
to.
tell me like, ooh, Tiffany's in this one or Debbie Gibson's in this one.
Well, I mean, I did that because I mean that's like to begin with anyway. Like
Yeah.
that's on the cover of the fucking poster. Like they that was made for specifically for Tiffany and Debbie
Yeah.
Gibson to be in the movie together. This one, I don't think Jamie Kennedy's even on the poster. It was a surprise, uh and maybe that was the point.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't want many people watching it for Jamie because he doesn't come until like close to the end of the movie.
Right.
So, you'd have to wait a while if you're a Jamie Kennedy fan trying to get your Jamie Kennedy fix or whatever. But you get it. Like he even for like 10-minute cameo, he makes it worthwhile. So
Yeah.
I thought he was great. And then I liked the ideas that they had with like
Yeah.
how to get places or how to figure this stuff out. Because they knew like one spot where this thing wasn't, but it was so far away. And they were like, how
Right.
are we gonna get here? And so they have to like create.
Problem solved. They were problem solving together.
Yeah, which I mean, it becomes kind of like a mystery, like or whatever,
Yeah.
and trying to solve the mystery. And also, I like that in the beginning they had no idea, just like the audience had no idea what this was. And so they were trying to guess what it was. This government, it's oil, it's all this other shit, and just like it's most people would say, this movie actually says it, where they go, it doesn't matter what it is. It's under us, whatever it is. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Like it can do, you know. And also I think I almost feel like Paul would kind of like this movie
That's what I
because
was thinking.
I mean it's not science, there's no science or anything, so like it's not like that. But like it does things where if it says one thing, it doesn't do another thing. Like some movies, the characters will say, you can't go out that way. And then, they go out that way and then something else happens somewhere else, or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like it's like if the thing's there, they figure out where it's at, they know they can't be there. And it doesn't change anything, you know.
Right.
Um, it does do the tentacles going up into the things, but like that's just it trying to figure out how to get what it wants,
Yeah.
like it's like, okay, I know, Gilbert's in this trash can. Let me figure out how to get up in that trash can so I can get Gilbert, you know.
Yeah, Gilbert had a pretty bad death too, I have to say.
But he lasted a lot longer than I thought he was going to.
Yeah.
I thought, oh God. And he kept me in suspense the whole time. I thought he kept wiggling so much. I was like, oh God.
Felt so bad for him.
He had also one of my favorite lines in the whole movie. Do you know what that was?
What?
Please don't let me die with a dick on my face. That was like one of the best lines in the movie. I'm sorry. That
Oh man.
that
That was
cracked me
pretty
up.
good.
So yeah, it was good.
Oh.
Um, let's see. All in all, I mean, I just had a very enjoyable time, which I like again, I thought I was gonna hate it, honestly. I thought it was gonna be
I'd
bad.
watch it again, heck.
Yeah, I'd watch it again. Not right now, but I'd watch it again, definitely. It almost seems like a perfect sort of, I mean, even though, like I said, I think it is set during spring break, it is a perfect summertime movie. So
Yeah.
if you guys are, if it's still there on Tubi by the time this video's out, I really hope, because Tubi, things disappear all the time. But you know, I would definitely recommend watching this. Have you seen Sand Sharks? They also recommended that to me.
I don't think so. I don't
It's
know,
like
maybe.
it's like it's like exactly like it says. There's sharks in the sand. Instead of this like creature here,
I
it's
may have
sharks
watched
killing.
that one actually.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's not. I think this is better, honestly. But I think I like this better, and it's for the reasons I normally wouldn't like it. Which once again, one location and
Yeah.
minimal cast, and the characters are basically trying to figure everything out and try to figure out Scooby-Doo everything, like try to figure out and MacGyver everything. They do like these
Yeah.
things like and start like, you know, putting everything down so people can step on them and everything. And yeah, everybody that died had a pretty crazy death. And I think every time it ate somebody, it got even worse the next time. And I think that was their plan. It was like
Yeah.
each person's death, each person it was gonna get worse and worse. So like by the end of it, we're like, what the fuck? And what nothing killed it because it never got killed, by the
Yeah.
way,
It's
which
still out
was
there.
still out there. It's at a beach near you. Um
Yeah,
somewhere.
don't watch this before you go to the beach.
I don't know. I don't know because
Ah,
okay, so Jaws, I can understand people being scared because like Jaws is a real shark, like you know what I mean? Like sharks really do exist in the water. But this thing, I mean, I don't know. You've never
mm,
seen another one of it like in real life. I mean, that we know of. Maybe everybody has died from it. I don't know. But I could imagine this not being a real thing. So I don't think people would actually be terrified of going to the beach after watching this, which is it goes to the B movie thing, It's like,
yeah.
if this, I don't know, if this were taken a lot more seriously, then I think it would be cheesier. It would be bad. It probably wouldn't have been good because I think
I
they
don't know.
did a
I
great
really
job.
liked it. I do
Yeah.
too. I think it was very entertaining. I think the acting was great. It was very engaging. I felt like there was always something going on. Um, and the acting, did I say the acting was, yeah, I said the acting was really good.
Yeah.
Um, but there was just enough camp in it.
And we mentioned this special effects, right? We
I
mentioned that.
loved them.
And so let me bring up who did that. So the cinematographer was Matt Wise. I thought it was well done cinematically. Like I thought all the
Oh yeah.
shots were well done. The let's see, the visual effects were done by Justice Effects. So whoever Justice Effects are, which are a bunch of people like Ariel Anastasio, Zach Brinkeroff is the visual effects supervisor. The compositor is Micah Conrad. And so those guys are Justice Effects, you know. Um, so thank you, Justice Effects, for doing all that. Special effects. Let me see if we can get there's they mention special effects are makeup effects artist Nicolette Brockington. Um, it doesn't. Hmm. I mean, this person. I'm guessing it's a female. Nicolette would be a female. She did Battered, Piece of Me, um, Dear Mama. I don't know, a couple things. That she did this special effects, but she did a great job on this one. You know. Um, and let's see. The director of the movie, Isaac Gabe, oh God, I'm gonna screw this name up. Isaac Gaba F. Like that's literally how Gaba F. Like it's Gabaeff. So Gabeth. I don't know. I know if I might have pronounced that right. I don't know. Um, but he hadn't done a lot of directing. Um, he only directed uh The Sand, 2003 movie called People Watching. I'm guessing that's a short. It's a 1 hour movie. A documentary short, or no, a short drama called White Boy, and a movie called The Art of Storytelling, about which he used himself as an actor in it. So
Hmm.
was he in The Sand as well, or no? No, he was not in The Sand. He did not go in it. Well, he probably was in it, but he did a few other things like props and some other stuff. So,
Hmm.
and like I said, for the writers, one of the writers, Alex Greenfeld was the one that did a lot of WWE and stuff. And then the other guy, I was kind of impressed by him because he had done the aggression scale, which was actually a really good horror film, like thriller, more action thriller kind of
Yeah.
thing that Stephen C. Miller directed. So that was a good movie. So he wrote that, and then I guess he co-wrote this one, and I guess that became this guy, Alex Greenfeld became his co-writing partner. And so yeah, we've had some really cool people that were worked on this movie. It seemed like everybody sort of had the idea of what this was and kind of went out and made a fun little
Yeah.
project. I enjoyed it. You know?
Yeah. I did too.
I would I wouldn't give it like a huge like like out of five stars. I'd probably give this three, or something. Which I mean I liked it. Didn't mean I
Yeah.
think this is the greatest movie of all time or anything. Like this is just a cute little fun movie that you could probably watch,
Yeah.
in the summer,
Well,
kind of
and
thing.
not all movies are meant to be greatest movies of all time. A lot of them are just supposed to entertain us and make us laugh or scare us or just make us feel something.
I was never scared, and I don't know because I don't think there's any movie these days that can really scare me, but especially like one where there's a creature that's just sucking people up, sucking them down into the sand. Like I like that doesn't scare me, you know? Like I'm not like, "Oh my God, no."
because it's far-fetched.
It's far-fetched and it's also I think um it's just it's a very B movie. And that and B movie indie horror, which is perfect. Like this what it
Yeah,
was, you know. It wasn't trying to be anything more or less than what it was, and I love that. But it's what it was, you know. So I knew that and I don't know, I enjoyed it. I think other people I said this a billion times already, I've enjoyed it. But I think other people out there that are just looking for something for the summer, you know,
yeah,
and stuff, I think this would be I didn't even know. I just thought the sand looks like a beach, looks like hard, you know, on the beach. Sure, let's do this for the opening one. And sure enough, yep. And I never seen it in first time watch. So
yeah.
and I'm mostly trying to find movies that are first time watches for not just me, but the other guest. And so I think
Tubi's the
that's what
place to do it.
yeah, Tubi is the place because Tubi has like weird shit, you
You
know, like
never know what you're gonna find on there.
I know, especially like Paul loves it because, you know, he watches these wacky, you know, wacky movies that, you know, or whatever. Now it knows, the algorithm
Yeah,
knows that he
yeah,
likes wacky movies. So it
very.
just keeps suggesting wacky movies. My movies are like this, you know, they're a little on the
Yeah.
wacky side, but not really. You know, I think the thing that's the most fun about it is just the way everybody took it so seriously, but not, you know, but it
Not over the top.
yeah, not over the top and at all. And it wasn't like they were doing jokes to each other, but it wasn't, you know, they weren't like ha 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 ha, you know, like I
Mhm.
can't or they weren't even cheesy. Like I
Yeah,
mean, you know, I don't want to fucking die, you know, with a dick on my face. That is, I mean, that's funny shit, you know,
yeah,
but it was told not to be funny. Like
right.
he wasn't saying it because he thought it was
Wasn't
so funny.
purposeful. Yeah.
But
It wasn't purposefully funny.
for him, but for
Yeah,
us, it was purposely funny because we were gonna laugh at that, you know, in a way. Like none of us want to die with a dick on our face. I'm sorry, you know,
yeah,
and so yeah, so I loved you know, I really enjoyed this movie and I think more people should see it. So if you are interested in watching the movie, go see it on Tubi. If you haven't even heard of it, I mean, perfect time to go watch it then. I definitely recommend it. And whatnot, but I will not be promoting these movies. Like I might just say, you know, I watched a movie for it, but I will not say, you know, what it is because uh I want people to see it when it comes out that this is the movie we did. Hopefully they'll go, oh crap, I want to see that, you know, or whatever. Hopefully they will. You know, because that's the beautiful thing. But go check my letterboxd, because I will probably do a little small, I do like these small little like three three line reviews, you know, of the movies that I see now, because you know, just to give it a little bit. I don't do like a full on fucking review. That's what I do these for, you know,
yeah.
and stuff. So, go check out my letterboxd. I'll probably leave a link down below. Liz, what have you been up to?
Mostly just working and I am currently working on a drama called Transference. And it's about the concept that everybody needs somebody in life to transfer some of their feelings onto because we can't just carry all these feelings inside of us all the time. And I don't know how much I can say about it. They're doing some different things with it. It's going to be possibly some really cool, groundbreaking stuff.
Cool.
Um, but I'm really excited about it. Yeah.
Is it a
The
feature
script,
or?
It's hmm, it's not a short film, but it's kind of in between a short film and a feature film. I'm not sure. They might be doing more with it too. We're still kind of in the pre-production phase. But we're supposed to start filming the end of this month, I think.
It was
So,
mid of June, so hopefully by the time this comes out, more information will be out there for it, or
yep.
whatever. So yeah, so go check out Liz's page and stuff and check that out. Yeah, thank you, Liz. This has been
Oh, thanks for
awesome,
having
and
on.
yeah, I'm looking forward to everything. That movie sounds interesting, the transference. So
Transference. Oh my
yeah,
gosh. I'm like, I, he sent the script to me as the audition. Like, so for part of the audition, he sent the script out to people so they could read it and get a really good idea of the character. And as soon as I read it, it was one of these roles I've just been waiting for. Like, it was written for me, I felt like. And so I poured everything into this audition. I'd had a lot of stuff going on that kind of set the mood for me internally. And I killed this audition. So
nice.
I submitted it on Backstage and I never heard back. I did follow up after 2 weeks, but he was like, yeah, we're just reviewing tapes right now. So, like 2 weeks after that, I connected with the writer on LinkedIn. And he said, hey, did you ever submit your audition? And I was like, yeah, I did. It's on there. And so apparently my audition never went through.
Oh, that's
So
weird.
I sent it to him and he said, your audition just blew 900 auditions out of the water.
Damn.
So I was like, yes, this was meant to be.
But it almost wasn't. That's crazy. That
Yeah.
like
Well, they
like
even they even had already cast this role that I auditioned for, but something fell through with this actress, and so um it's me.
yeah, once again that means that it was meant. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. It's meant to be. That's crazy. That's good though. I'm very proud of you. Like, that
Thank
you
you.
went out there and you kicked ass and you got the role, you know. And so yeah, if you are a filmmaker that's listening or watching this or whatever, cast Liz on something, or at
Oh,
least have
yeah,
her
yeah.
audition,
Here I
you
am,
know.
guys.
Yeah. I do that because I'm not an actor,
Yeah.
I'm a writer, director, I do my own shit, Like I don't I'm never soliciting for myself. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I act only when people ask me to act in something, or I'm
Yeah.
doing it for my own projects. I have no interest, like, because like the life of an actor is very, like I couldn't do what you guys do. Like, the more I hear about the stuff that you guys go through with my interviews I do, I'm like, no, no, I don't want to. I don't want to be rejected 100 times before I find the one,
Yeah, you
like that.
gotta you
I get
gotta get
rejected by
your
girls enough.
rejection.
Let me, I'm done, I'm like, and writing's not like writing's sort of similar, you know, in a way where, you can be rejected by like, film
Yeah.
festivals for your writing or your films or whatever and whatnot. But I mean, most of the time, like distribution is pretty easy to get for indie films,
Yeah.
and or the right person, just like in acting, I guess the right person, the right role, right whatever will come along, as it did with you and many other films that other people make. So honestly, all in all, I love what you guys do as actors, but I just more I hear about the pain and the trials and tribulations that people go through, I'm like,
Yeah.
no, thank you. I've got enough shit on my plate. I don't need to add to like more things to make me cry. Um, you know, hey, if I can transfer all my feelings, then maybe.
Yeah, you need some transference.
That sounds like fun. Yeah, like yeah, I'd love to like let me know when that comes out and stuff. I'd love to
Yeah,
check
yeah,
it out.
definitely.
I think people stuff like that when you're when you're taking an idea like that and just kind of having fun, like making something just like this movie, when you take a
Yeah,
movie like a concept and you just have fun with it, and whatnot. That's what it is. I don't like these movies that are just so super serious and nothing's funny and fun, Like if this movie
yeah.
had no comedy in it, I would have hated it, absolutely. If like Jamie Kennedy didn't know. I mean, even before Jamie Kennedy came out, I was laughing, I was enjoying, I was like,
Oh yeah.
guys are kind of fun. Like
Good
I could
energy.
what I was told was, and watch movies this way, okay? If you can take the characters out of that situation and put them somewhere else into another situation and still enjoy being around them, or whatever, then you got good characters. See what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if you can take Luke Skywalker out of being the whiny guy in space and put him in you know what is it let's see, in a restaurant cooking for food or something, you know or being a waiter, Luke Skywalker is your waiter, hello, I'm Luke Skywalker, can I get you food? You do that, you know could you see that? Yeah, I could see that, and I could, I I'd be laughing, but I'd be like, yeah, okay. Luke Skywalker's making my food. But like you take them out of this situation, you put them somewhere else. If you can think about doing that, then you've
Yeah.
got really good characters. But if they are only um good for that, they're only good to be in Marvel, you know, or something like Captain Marvel is probably one of my least favorite characters, sadly, maybe not in the comics, but just the way they kind of made her in
Mhm.
the MCU. Um, don't know if I would care if she was anywhere else, like
Yeah.
or anything else. And and I think it was just bad writing, to begin with. So that's what it is. And these characters, I kind of would like to have seen what they were like without like this movie, like
Being in this stressful situation.
yeah, like if we saw like a before this situation when they were in school and they were all together, I would be interested in that shit.
Yeah.
Like Fast Times at Ridgemont High kind of shit. Like I would be
Hmm.
into that, with
Yeah.
drama and comedy mix. Um, so like I think that's the thing. You take them out of this stressful situation that they're in, put them somewhere else, are they still as interesting?
Yeah.
So
I
there you
like
go.
that.
Yeah. Well, it's not. I'm not original. That wasn't me. Somebody else. I think it was. Uh. I'm correct, and he might not have even got it from himself. Somebody else may have told him it, but the guy who wrote what's his name? God. Um. I'm completely breaking. But he made a whole book on it's called "You're Gonna Need a Bigger Story" by Houston Howard. He kind of said that, and that's how
Yeah.
he described finding, you know, whatever. So I think that's exactly right. I think he's absolutely right. If you can take these characters out of this situation, and put them into their classrooms or at a pool party or a restaurant or whatever, and you can make a whole movie out of that,
Right.
then that means they're good characters. And that they all worked for me. So, and I'm sure this transference will be the same for you. So,
Yeah.
really excited for that.
Thank
But
you.
anyway, thank you guys for checking this out. Join me next week for a brand new episode. I think next week is James L. Edwards episode. So I have no idea I think I have an idea what James has me doing. I think he told me. Um, I haven't watched it yet. So whatever it is. Going to be watching it this weekend and then doing it on Monday with James. So this is the first two episodes and we're gonna have fun and then it's gonna keep going until I think we're doing 20 episodes for this show. So, get ready because it's going to be the end of the rest of the year, you know. Until then, everybody, have a good one.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.